Hey everybody, Zach here for the Friday Fishing Report. With all the crazy weather we've been having the last little while, it's got me thinking of warmer days and sunny beaches and flats fishing. So if you're not familiar, we actually do some hosted trips. And in March, Matt and I will be hosting a trip to Christmas Island. Just about every warm water species you can possibly think of. There's a lot of them down there. And as you can see, I am already starting to tie up for that trip. That's a glimpse inside my box. Jordan and I have been tying some stuff for the shop as well. And this week I am going to be tying you a very simple bonefish pattern. That is probably the most famous bonefish pattern on the planet, called the Crazy Charlie. Super easy to tie. I do it in a variety of colors and different weights. I've done some bead chains for myself. This one will be tied with some dumbbell eyes, so a little bit heavier weight, and then I'll even do some with some lead eyes. So you want to mix up weights when you're tying warm water stuff. Covers you a variety of water conditions and all that kind of stuff. You want to match the colors of the flies to what's going on underneath too, and have some crazy hot spots as well. This is going to be kind of an orangey version, but more traditional color pattern with the proper tinsel and all that kind of stuff. So this is just some 140 Danville thread in hot orange. And before I lose my eyes off the table here, I'm going to bring my thread to about an eye length back from the hook eye, because we've got to tie in a wing and some stuff in front of these eyes. And excuse the fat hands. There we go. I'm just going to do some cross wraps. When I say cross wraps, I'm actually making X's of thread around the dumbbell eyes. That just helps to seat them. I'm going to take a peek from the side, just make sure they're sitting nice, which they are. And to really secure those in place, just some Zap-A-Gap. This is the brushable kind. Goes on nice, just a little dab there. And let that soak in for a sec. And maybe saw a bunch coming off the brush there. A little bit there. Brush is nice, gives you a little more control over where that super glue goes. Give it a second, just let it soak in. And cover it up with a few more cross wraps, nice and snug. And then I'm going to actually come under the eye, but over top of the shank. And I'm just going to make some loops like that. And this just kind of cinches all those cross wraps together. Alright. Now on my way down, I'm going to tie our main body material, which is some vinyl rib. So it's kind of flat. I don't know if it's going to pick it up or not. It's flat on one side and it's got a bit of a bump to it. So we call this D rib as well, because it looks like a D. So all I'm going to do is just cut off a small chunk there. I'm just going to rub it through my fingers just to kind of warm it up. It's a little stiff right off the spool. This allows it to kind of stretch a little bit too, give you a nice taper. So like I said, Christmas Island, lots of bonefish, triggerfish, GTs are the prize down there. I think last year they caught about 40 different species of fish as a group. So like I said, Matt and I are going in March. Come on into the shop if you're interested, or shoot us an email. We can get you all the details. Matt, myself, and Jordan are all very well versed in what's going on that trip. So I'm just going to catch this in right behind the eyes. As I warmed it up, it allows me to stretch it a bit. So just to create a little taper to the body. You don't really have to do this, but I like to. I am going to stretch it slowly as I wrap back on it. Now, I don't know if you caught that or not, but the flat side of the D, so the bump is going this way right now, and the flat side's on top of the hook shank. Just allows it to sit kind of nice. And yeah, tuck that out of the way. Now our underbody for the body of this fly is going to be some Mirage tinsel in opal. You can play around with this. I've done the silver vinyl rib, or silver vinyl, the gold vinyl. There's the opal, or this is the opal. There's the Mirage tinsels. There's holographic ones. You name it, you can play around with it. It really shows through because this is a clear body rib that we're going to be putting on top. This has some nice crazy flash to it. Kind of dulls it down a little bit once it's wrapped over top of. And I am going to leave my thread right behind the eyes. So now I'm just going to do overlapping wraps over top. Like I said, play around with colors for this fly. Generally you want to match the bottom that you're going to be fishing, so it's If it's very grassy and stuff like that, you're going to want to tie a lot more greens and olives. When it's a lot sandier, more whites and yellows and tans and stuff like that work really well. And then you want to definitely have a hot spot with different threads. I'm actually just going to come underneath here. I'm going to finish that off right there. So this just has a band of that tinsel underneath the eyes. Just going to take a couple wraps there just to secure it in place. Now I'm going to grab this D-rib. I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it quite snug. This first wrap always sometimes kind of slips on you. So I'm just going to take a full wrap at the back. And I'm going to do touching wraps all the way up. As I loosen off the tension a little bit, this just creates a nice tapered body. Hear that stuff stretching in my hands. Nice tight wraps all the way up. I'm going to get one in there. And I'm actually going to finish this off right on top. So I'm going to come back across, lock that guy in place. And we're going to put a wing and stuff over top of it, so just like that. If you want, like I like to, I'm going to take some Solares Bone Dry here. I'm just going to dab a little bit on top. Let that soak in for a sec, cure it up. See that kind of orange thread really fluoresces through the body, which is kind of cool. So that should be all clear on top. Love it. I'm going to put a dab underneath as well. As you can see, there's just some exposed tinsel there. This is going to be on the bottom, so it doesn't really matter too much, but just to protect it, I'm just going to put a little dab of the Bone Dry. Again, zap it with your light, and that should be good and cured, which it is. Nice tack free. So I'm just going to tidy up the head of the fly a little bit. We've got a couple more materials to tie in here. First one's going to be some flash. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet. So these are the stash pods from Hairline. We have a few coming in. They actually might be in the shop by the time this airs. But you can see it's double-sided. I like to use the tan and the pearl a lot with a lot of these bonefish flies. So I stack them together. That way I can just pull materials out together. This one I'm going to go a strand of orange. Just going to pull that out because my hot spot is orange. So I'm going to play with that theme. And I'm going to take one pearl as well. Kind of mix the flashes. And I'm just going to put them together. I'm going to fold them in half. Trim that away. So now I've got 2 strands of pearls, 2 strands of orange, and I'm going to tie this in facing back here. Pinch that to the top of the shank. I have inverted the fly here. Having a rotary vise makes that very easy to do. Just going to make sure that's right in the middle. Fold this extra back, just like so. I'm going to trim this so it's a little longer than the bend of that hook. That's going to seat nicely like that. A couple different colors there, which is nice. As you can see, it just goes past the back of the hook there. Now for our wing, and to finish this off, I have a coyote mask. There's a lot of different materials you can use. This has some really nice, really fine tan colored tips. And then that under fur is a nice orangey, kind of tanny, sandy kind of color, which is perfect for warm water flies. And the mask is nice because there's a lot of different lengths of material. So you got to kind of play around and see what's going to work for you. I'm just going to take, you want to tie these pretty sparse. You don't want them too heavy. I'm just going to trim away some from the mask there. I'm going to come in here, pull out some under fur. You can save that for dubbing if you like. I've always had the good intentions of doing so, but never end up doing it. You come in here, I got a couple tips that are a little long. I'm just going to get rid of those. As you can see, there's the tips, and there's the main bulk of the material there. I'm pretty happy with the way the tips look in the water. So my length is really going to be where that under fur comes in, which is about here, to about the back of the bend of the hook. The tips can kind of extend past. I'm not too worried about that. So I've kind of measured that up right there. Tie this in right on top. Just redo that again. Tie that in like so. Just make sure everything's seating nice. A little bit there that's kind of got a little wonky on me. There we go. That's looking pretty good. More wraps. I'm going to come in here, trim that away. Now I'm going to build up a nice orange head, which is kind of our hot spot for this fly. As you can see, these flies aren't too difficult. They're pretty simple. Jordan and I tie a variety of variations on this pattern with different body materials like flat braid, a little less flash, a little more flash. Really depends on what we're feeling, and different variety of colors as well. So pink chartreuses, olives, orange, obviously, and some with rubber legs, some without. I'm just going to come in and whip finish this. I'm sure over the next couple months here before our trip, we will have a few more patterns for you guys. Just going to trim that away. And to finish this off, I'm going to use that Solarez bone dry resin once again. Just really, the stuff dries perfectly clear, doesn't yellow. Never had any issues with cracking. It's rock solid and tack free. So that guy there is just going to help protect all those thread wraps. And we're just going to cure that up like so. So yeah, if you are interested in coming to Christmas Island with us, it's in March. I believe it's in the middle, somewhere around like the 14th or something like that. Come on into the shop. We can talk you through it, or you can email us at the shop and we can send you all the details that we have. It's going to be an awesome trip. And there's your finished Crazy Charlie. Give you a small rotation there. Obviously this is going to ride hook point up just like this, and that wing is going to kind of look like a shrimp when it's in the water. It's going to undulate and move a little bit, which is what we want to attract those fish. There you have it, the Crazy Charlie.